And Robert Burns, to the last comment, did look okay. I was just very frustrated with the fact that Donald Chaney had been cooking in the run game in the second half. And then you put Robert Burns in for a participation trophy kind of carries and things like that. I just didn't think that that was the right choice. I didn't think that was the right rotation. I mean, we had the hot hand and then we sat him down. And I mean, Virginia did end up getting the ball back as well. But I just didn't. I thought that there were other spots where maybe Robert Burns could have gotten his carry or gotten those carries and things like that. But at that time and scenario, and again, with the hot hand, why are you going away from that? And I mean, there was no injury either with Donald Chaney. So I just didn't see that as being smart.
Some people commenting as to whether Miami is back in the live chat.
No.
My response to that is I always ask the question, what do you mean back? When people say, I hear these comments all the time when people say, Mark, is this team relevant? Mark, is this team back? Is this team down? I always want a definition of what that particular person, but to me, yes, if somebody said, like if Iowa went 4-8, 5 straight years, and then they got off to a good start and somebody said, is Iowa back? I'd be like, you need to define that, because when was Iowa ever, Iowa's Iowa. But Miami, I know what Miami, the historic 1983 to 2003 Miami program was. So that being the standard, could Miami win the rest of their games this year? Would the ACC go to the college football playoff, and would they be back? Yes. Do I expect that to happen? No. So I don't believe that they're back. They would have to show me a lot more, but they are trending up. Which brings us to the recruiting class, Cam, which is second in the ACC and 12th in the nation, according to the 247 composite for 2021. And you've got some, not necessarily commits, but just interesting news on the recruiting front.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of it. I mean, we do have the commitments. We haven't had a new commitment in a while, but you got 22 guys committed right now, I want to say. So we only have maybe 2 slots left, because you had to count Isaiah Walker Jr. forward when he transferred in from Florida. So you have that. Bergier goes well. Thank you for asking. But yeah, so I mean, the recruits this year are really playing well, first of all. And we do, the weekly recruiting recap, the game recaps on State of the U. I think Carl Belich is the one who's handling that for us right now. But he, I mean, everybody's balling. You look at Romello Brinson, James Williams, Leonard Taylor, Brashard Smith, Malik Curtis, just everybody. What's his name? Thad Franklin, Jabari Ishmael. I mean, just everybody's balling in the recruiting class on the field this year. And that's good to see, because you want to see your guys come out there and perform. So they are doing that. Amari Daniels from Miami Central is a 3-star running back. He decided that he was going to delay his commitment because he wanted to commit before his season started. And that's funny. He was going to do that, but then he decided that he was going to push that date back. His finalists were Texas A&M and Georgia. But I think the Miami's still involved there in debating if they're going to try to bring him in. So there's that, which is positive, if you really want him in this class. And I know that there are some people who do. You have Michael McLaughlin from Stoneman Douglas, the former tight end from Indiana who moved down to play offensive tackle just because he's a little slow foot. Excuse me. And he's really reshaped his body in a year. He was 6'7". He looks like he's up to 6'8", 6'8.5". He was like 240. He looks like he's about 285, 290 now. His dad, I think, put up some videos of him lifting lots of heavy weights and everything. Andrew Ivins from 247 is actually at McLaughlin's game tonight as we're recording. He already put up some pregame video of some of the offensive line drills up at Stoneman Douglas. And that kid that kid is getting really big, which is, I think, what the projection was with his body frame and everything. But he is putting in the work to build the kind of offensive tackle body that you want to see. Somebody asked me if he was too tall, or said he was too tall to be an offensive tackle at 6'8", and I'm just like, Bryant McKinney, the best one ever, or one of the best, handful best at the University of Miami, was 6'8". Jonathan Ogden was 6'9". One of the best ones in the history of football. So that's a little ridiculous. So you have those things. On top of that, the Jake Garcia saga continues, and I'll say it like this. So as I'm writing this month's class breakdown, the first one of the season, halfway through, just reading around and, just doing what I do in the recruiting world, So it came out that, Jake Garcia transferred from California to Valdosta, Georgia to play in the fall of his senior year because Southern California is not playing high school football. So he transfers to Valdosta, is eligible, plays in a game, has 336 yards and 2 touchdowns, leads them to an season opening victory. The next Tuesday, a profile comes out on ESPN.com of Garcia and the move and everything. And long story short, Garcia's parents legally separated for the time being. Mr. Garcia, a former police officer, moved with Jake to Valdosta, and so he could play. And the parents are going to get back together eventually. They plan on that. But they got separated because they're like, legally, you have to have the full family unit move to be a true and complete move. But then when the profile came out, and then Mr. Garcia is on the record on ESPN saying, me and my wife are going to get back together. Like, we're legally separated, but this is all for Jake, and because he's retired from the police force. She still works her job. She's not going to leave that because she has a couple of years for retirement. So, hey, babe, you stay out there, do the thing. I already got my pension. I already worked my 30, boom, whatever, done. And so then the other teams in the area then filed a petition to get Jake Garcia ruled ineligible, and then the GSSAA ruled him ineligible. So that was about 6 or 7 weeks ago. And then now Garcia and his father moved up to Loganville, and he's going to Grayson, another perennial power in Georgia. So Valdosta's one in South Georgia. A little bit further north, you have Loganville, Grayson. That's Robert Kimdiche, that high school. And all those guys, other guys who went to Grayson. And immediately after transferring to Grayson, Jake Garcia was reinstated as being eligible to play high school football in the state of Georgia. Immediately. Which led me and others to question how, what was the foundation for him not being or being ineligible at Valdosta that is alleviated by him transferring to Loganville Grayson? You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't make any kind of sense to me. But hopefully, and they're 6-0. They have a game against a 5-1 team this week. I don't think he's going to play this week, but maybe moving forward. So, we'll see what happens with Garcia. Hopefully, he's able to put some film together and get back on the floor, or on the court, field. On the field and play some football and everything. But Miami is still chasing after him. Like I said the other week, Southern Cal did offer another quarterback, which is odd if you have Miller Moss and Jake Garcia committed and you think that they're firmly committed. But there's a little bit of that, and you're chasing down, whoever you can get. A Tristan Lee is a 5-star offensive lineman. You would love to have one of those in this recruiting class. You have Terrence Lewis, a 5-star linebacker from Miami Central. I've come around to where I would accept him being on my team, even though I don't necessarily love that. But okay, for off the field reasons, not on the field reasons. He's an incredible player. Don't get that twisted. But you have all that, and you want to keep everybody committed that's in the boat right now. I think I haven't heard much about guys getting processed out, but I mean that could happen if there were somebody elite, like uber elite, who wanted to come in to the class. But no matter which way you go, you need a cornerback or two in this class. Miami just offered a kid out of Texas. It was his first offer. He's a 3-star senior who's played some good football this fall in the first couple of weeks, but looked like that could be the rump special this year. Your late add to the class. But as of current, you have Tim Burns Jr. from Miami Northwestern, and then Malik Curtis. Like I said, he needs to play offense. He's just too dynamic with the football in his hand. He's too fast. So you put him and Brashard Smith as your space and speed players. And then you back that up, or backing up Xavier Restrepo from last year as a space and speed kind of player. It just fits too well. So, and that's okay if you take Malik Curtis off the defensive side of the ball, but then you got to replace that. And again, you had Christian Williams transfer out. So you only have 4 scholarship cornerbacks or 5 right now. I mean, so you got to have bodies over there. So we'll see which way this goes. But face visits, it's all been digital, all been virtual, and things like that. I think that as the early signing period approaches in the next 6 weeks, you're going to see some movement just across the nation. There's going to be some decommitments and flips just because guys are holding on to spots as long as they can to make sure that there's clearance at their future decision school before they go and make that move. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, Miami's in a good spot right now, but need to close this recruiting class strong.